Welcome to brandrepublic.tv. My name is Philip Smith, and today we're going to be looking at one of the most high-profile brands in UK advertising, as it embarks on what it hopes is going to be a bright new advertising future. Just for you, here is an exclusive look at the latest stage in its campaign.
I am my mother Una, and my sisters, Heather and Hannah. I am my grandfather, who gave me a heavy bike one Christmas. I'm the neighbour who took the stabilisers off. I'm my friend Bobby, who helped me through my training, and the school kids from Dundee, who raised money for my trip. I am the woman who knocked me off my bike in Louisiana, and her son who fixed it. I am the people of the Nullarbor who gave me water when I needed it most. I am Mark Beaumont, and this year I broke the round the world cycling record. I am who I am because of everyone. Orange.
You will have noticed that Orange and its creative agency Fallon has controversially ditched the famous "The future's bright, the future's orange" strapline, which it's been using since 1995. That decision has caused a stir in the industry and beyond. But brands and advertising, of course, need to move on. And joining me in the studio today are two people who can explain what Orange is up to. I'm delighted to welcome Justin Billingsley, Brand Director Orange UK, and from Orange's creative agency, Magnus Djaba, Partner and Director of Development at Fallon. Gentlemen, welcome to the brandrepublic.tv studio.
Thank you.
Now tell me, Justin, have you been surprised? We know that Orange is an icon, we know it's a brand that a lot of people talk about, but have you been surprised by the level of reaction to this campaign?
No, we've been really happy with the level of reaction. I mean, one of our objectives is to drive reappraisal of our brand and get people talking about it. So we've certainly achieved that objective. I think if there's one thing that surprised us, it's been in some of the industry reaction. And the thing that's kind of surprising, and I would actually say, if anything, a little disappointing, is that a lot of the discussion, the reaction has been around an ad, one execution. And for an industry that's constantly harping on about 360 and integration and immersing people and all this stuff, and we always go on about it, and then when an ad comes out, we get stuck into the ad. People aren't thinking about the journey that our consumers are going through on this. 10% of the dialogue they're having with us is TV advertising. And one of the great things about this campaign is how well it's integrated. It's something we're really proud of. There are 60 different executions that went out in July alone, all the way along the customer journey, all the way down through retail, through the way people talk on the phone when they call Orange. And that journey is linking up for people, and that's what people in the community are reacting to. They don't think about these things anywhere near as much as we do. We've entertained people, we've inspired them, and they're thinking about Orange differently. So we've achieved that goal. But
Magnus, when people think about Fallon, they often think about big bucks TV advertising. I mean, do you feel that same sort of pressure? Is it sort of? Were you surprised by the importance of this campaign?
I don't feel that pressure. I think you answer the briefs in front of you, and for Orange, the brief and what's needed was a big idea that had depth and breadth. It could work over time and be a campaign. It's absolutely what this brand needs. At other moments in time, we've had brands that needed all of a sudden to shock people into taking notice, as you can see behind you. This brief was about laying the foundations for a brand, not for the month of July, but actually for the next 5 years. And I think we've got a great start.
Great. And you mentioned there, of course, the big idea. Justin, would you like to tell us a little bit more about the big idea behind this campaign?
Absolutely. Well, it's all driven by the brand vision of Orange, which is that together we can do more, that we can get, you achieve more, you do more, you get more done with and through others than you can by yourself. It's a very powerful space. It's an area that we'd love to be attributed to us. It's something that is much more than mobile, like our business is becoming much more than mobile, like broadband and all the other things we're going to do in the future. But one of the challenges for us creatively was it's also a space that's full of cliches, group hugs and meeting people at airports and the kind of ways to do togetherness. And there's a lot of that in the market at the moment. So we really worked very hard to find a way to to deliver a feeling of togetherness for Orange, but to disrupt your perception of what togetherness is. How can we make the feeling of togetherness personal? And that's how we got to this this campaign idea of we're all the sum of our relationships. Everything we do, everything that's achieved is the sum of the relationships that formed it. How can we celebrate that? And I think the ad that you've just shown is the next phase of that, which shows a person's achievement, but really showing that they're celebrating the fact they could not have done this without all of these other relationships. And Orange is in the relationships business, and it's been really great to see how quickly people decode our role as a brand in those things. We don't have to show people on the phone or online.
Yeah.
People go, Orange is in the relationships business. We bring people together.
Of course. And one of the things that you both talked about there is that sometimes things aren't just about the month of July, the month of August or whatever. How do you measure the success of this campaign? And I think you talked, Magnus, about answering a brief, but you know, how do you judge the success or otherwise of a campaign like this?
Well, I mean, for us, the first thing is, and the number one judge of success actually is internally in Orange, because Orange is a service brand in the business of relationships. And so being able to see the Orange staff not just embrace the idea, but actually start to develop their own executions within that is, for me, probably one of the most pleasing things we'll ever see. Obviously, after that, then we want to see a difference in the marketplace. But this is about clearly creating a space that gives Orange a role in people's lives and takes the conversations marketplace above just the jumble sale of texts and minutes to a brand that understands you, the individual, and the relationships that make you who you are.
Mm-hmm. And Justin, I guess you must be one of the people who you know, marks Fallon's report card at the end of this. But how do you judge success? You know, how do you say to your bosses at Orange, this has worked? Well,
I mean, it's been an interesting set of conversations that got us to a place where I'm saying, in the current climate, for a couple of months, I don't want to talk about products on television. I want to talk about our devices. I want to talk about our packages. I want to talk about Orange. So there are a lot of people watching how well this does internally. But all the metrics we're seeing, we're very, very confident we've made some good decisions. I'd echo some of what Magnus said, and that is our 12,000 most important customers are our employees. And for them to be evangelising the brand, to feel a new sense of energy and renewal about the future of Orange, will have a much greater multiplier effect than any great campaign. And so that's something that we're just so excited about how well that's done. That's something actually advertising generally forgets, isn't it? The power of the internal communication, that it has to affect you know, all your representatives in the field, retailers and so on. And if you visit our Orange offices today, you'll see internal IM executions that talk about the history of Orange and the history of call centres through this language, this Together We Can Do More language. And all the way down to our business cards now. People's business cards have their own little I am statement on the back. So I'm my wife and my kids, etc., etc. So it's fantastic how it's been embraced. We're a business that isn't just out there saying what we believe, but we need to be behaving in what we believe. Is that the statement on the back of your business card? Mine is something like, I'm my first boss who said it's okay to disagree. I'm my wife Debbie who tells me the truth, and my children Lauren, Jack and Emma who wake up with so much optimism every day. Excellent. So, and we've all got our own little versions. Do you have one, Magnus? Or I suppose Fallon hasn't adopted this yet. The truth is I'm an employee of Fallon, so I'd love to have mine. If you did, what was your I am? What would mine be, basically? I think mine might start with, basically, I'm the honest discussions that myself and Justin have. Mine will probably be, I'm the people that challenge me in our office every single day, and I'm the blogs I read that inspire me. It's a big business card. Excellent. Now, what we've done, of course, is we've asked brandrepublic.com members to post their questions on the Brand Republic forums, which you can find at brandrepublic.com. So what I wanted to do now was ask Justin and Magnus a couple of those questions. So I think the first question we've got from Holly Martins, and she takes Three's approach to advertising as an example, and says, they ditched some very beautiful abstract advertising created by WCRS in favour of price-focused ads, which are all about their tariffs. At the time, it seemed like a shame to ditch branding and some very creative advertising in favour of price-focused advertising. Now looks like a very good call in light of worsening economic conditions. I'd like to know if the economic climate informed Orange's new campaign in any way, and if it didn't,
Why not? Justin?
Well, first of all, it absolutely did. Every brand should be thinking about how the current climate and the way people are behaving in this climate affects the way they go to market. But I think the important thing is that the answer is this is not a binary choice of do I go upstream to talk about why you should love us or downstream to talk about why you should buy us today. We need to be doing both. Yeah? So you need to know, it's going back to my earlier point about integration, why we have 60 executions in market in July, despite people talking all about one, is that there are times when we're talking about why you should love Orange. Mm-hmm. There are times when you're talking about the products that make us different, better and special. Mm-hmm. And there are times when, like this morning when I'm reading the Metro on the tube, when I want you to call and buy something from us now. We've got a great device and a great price and a great package. So we have all of these three things in market. The other thing I'd say it was fascinating this morning because I was actually, as I said, I was on the tube and I saw there was two tube panels in the tube. On one side was our long copy Rose Tremaine, think a little bit about Orange. The other side was T-Mobile's current work on guaranteed no more minutes for £30. There you go, giving them a plug. but yeah, if all of us get into the realm of how many minutes you get for £30, I mean, really, it gets into please the last person turn off the lights. We really risk a commoditisation spiral. I mean, can you imagine Coke going out and saying, now Coke, in every Coke can there's 357 mils. Yeah. It's the same thing. So we need to be a leader by behaving like a leader, and leaders talk about why you should love them, and they talk about why you should buy them, and we'll be doing both in the market at the same time.
Okay, excellent. I'd like to move on to the next question, which Roger O'Thornhill asks. Why do mobile phone networks ignore the role of call centres in their advertising? It's clearly very important to consumers based on my own personal experience and that of friends and colleagues. I've actually switched networks based on poor customer service and know of others who have done the same. It's a strong selling point, yet mobile phone networks like Orange never mention the service they can offer customers in their ads. Banks do, and NatWest has been very successful with its call centre focused ads. Why haven't phone companies taken a leaf out of their book? Magnus, what do you think?
I think it's a good question. I think what we've tried to do, I said earlier on in our conversation, is to try and be clear about the role Orange can play in its customers' lives. And if you understand that role is to help facilitate those interactions of relationships that define us and define who we're going to be. Like, what it does for Orange staff, Orange services, but give them a quite clear idea of what they're there for. And I think that what we try to do with this idea is have an idea that clearly helped those involved in the service to understand absolutely what they're there for and be inspired by it in order to deliver a greater quality service. And I think the best answer to that question is you deliver service. Best not to just talk about it, I personally think.
I'm a very big believer in the adage, don't tell me you're funny, you make me laugh. And so
I laughed on cue there. You
I mean, our best advertising for customer service is our customers telling other customers and non-customers how much they like our service. So our best investment we can make is not to crow about our service, but to be better at it. And you will have seen some press recently about our recommitment to improving customer service even beyond the levels it's at. Things like stopping offshoring of our service centres to India and things like that. And turning our retail environments into service centres as well as selling places. And all of these things will add up much more than any advertising campaign will.
So, and it also means that if you have bad customer service, no ad campaign will change that.
No. Absolutely.
No, I just think I think if I worked for Orange right now, I'd be clearer about what I was supposed to be doing in customer service than I would be if I worked for T-Mobile.
Yep.
In terms of our last question, we've got a question which really goes back to the idea about a big idea that goes across loads of different platforms. This is from Chris Quigley, who's from a viral agency called Rubber Republic, and that's no relation to Brand Republic, I assure you. He asks, it looks like a big old school blustering TV ad designed to knock the consumer sideways by the power of £30 million of media spend and box office production values, rather than necessarily through the quality of idea or connection with the consumer. My question is, where's the cleverness of execution and brilliant use of social media that shines through in Orange's balloon race campaign? Maybe Fallon could do with collaborating with the nice geeks at Poke to come up with a campaign that blusters as well as is brilliantly executed across channels, including social media. Well, it's about Fallon. Magnus, what do you think?
I'm happy to answer that. So, as I said, we talked about an idea with breadth and depth, and I actually probably have one of the best working relationships I have with Poke, and we spend a lot of time together. And it's I've never been to Rubber Republic, not any in the daytime anyway. But I'm surprised that our friend from Rubber Republic hasn't looked online, at the end of every execution you'll see a little piece telling you to search for I am, and if you do, you'll get to iameveryone.co.uk. You'll find there's a tour that's going on by an artist called Jont, and what it's doing is a musical tour going around Britain, where it's the difference. The one difference being that the public are open to open their homes up, and he will play each gig in your home, invite friends to it as he goes around. So it's actually a music tour that is driven by people themselves, and is all about the thought of togetherness and what we can achieve together. Also, if he's on there, he'll also find Story of Rose Tremaine. He'll also, if he goes onto the site, he'll find in the very near future, when Mark Beaumont goes out on air, he'll also find some documentaries about Mark Beaumont and his next achievements he's looking to do, and the ability to involve yourself in that. So, I mean, I find it, as I say, it's odd that a man whose job is in the is online seems not to have gone online, but there you go.
So there's a lot to see. Excellent. Well, listen, thank you. That, I'm afraid, is all we've got time for today. Please keep an eye out for BranRepublic.tv in the future. Let us know what and who you'd like to see on the show at BranRepublic.com/on-TV. I want to thank Justin and Magnus for taking part in today's show and giving us their time, and of course giving us a little exclusive with the new stage of the campaign. I'd also like to thank our partners at the IPA, our sponsors at Thinkbox, and thank you in particular for your questions and for watching, listening and taking part. See you next time.